We are a channel that appreciates its viewers. We give our utmost effort for the best quality content, and we even push for the highest quality effort when it comes to how we look for you on screen.
Hi. When I need my skin to look its absolute best when I'm blowing the heads off zombies, I set my ring light to 4700K. Because I care. Maybe he's born with it.
Join our community. Join a channel that loves its viewers. Join this channel because we care.
Oh my goodness, I'm having a coughing fit as I'm going into the show. Hello there. Oh, you're muted. Wait. Your mic.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Hello there.
Hello there.
Oh, man. Tell ya.
How are you today, sir?
Scared. I have surgery tomorrow. Woo!
Ooh, well, we're gonna be talking all about that tonight.
Back surgery.
Ooh, what is going on, Danny? We have no lightsaber giveaway tonight, just to let you know. But thank you for tuning in. Please
Definitely,
don't
Danny.
spam the chat, Danny. We love you, bro. Tonight is a very special episode. I want to welcome everybody to Hearts of Kyber. Tonight is episode 15. Can you believe we put out 15 of these bad boys already?
Man.
Or 14.
Wow, that went quick. Holy cow, 15.
Wow. So tonight, typically, hi there, Danny. Typically, we have a specific topic that we talk about, whether we've talked about hydrocephalus, we've talked about anxiety, depression, PTSD, stiff person syndrome. God, I can't even name all of the topics that we've covered.
No, we've covered quite a few already.
We have. But tonight is a little more near and dear to our hearts, or to other parts of our body, I guess. Tonight is a special edition all about our good friend John here. And what we're going to be doing is Kyber Cave, as you may know, Kyber Cave is a Saber store. That's what we were first primarily, even before all this YouTube stuff started. And in fact, we still have the store running. Hopefully some of you get over there before May 4th, get that saber that you need. But we are having a sale right now that just started today. All of our sabers are 20% off, and a portion of those profits are going to be going towards a fundraiser that is very, very important to us that we are running for the next 2 months. We have a GoFundMe behind this, and this is a fundraiser to get my good friend John here a wheelchair. Tell him why you need a wheelchair, my friend. Why don't you just get off your ass and walk around, man?
Well, I'm just lazy.
Oh, geez, there we go
again. Parking. What can I say? Plus, I hear wheelchairs are chick magnets.
No, I might need to get me one then.
There you go.
Ghost mode activated. Have a
Ghost mode. There we go. Hey, Graveyard. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. To all you guys helping out, and I'm not saying that anything's going to be raised, but thank you.
No, we're going to raise it all, man. And in fact, we have a goal. Well, I would like you to tell people, and I guess if anything, we could say tonight's topic is SI joint dysfunction. I guess couldn't
you can, I guess, because that's what I suffer from. That puts me in the wheelchair.
Right. So let's go ahead and bring that title up. I'll let you read that. That way people kind of have an idea of why this wheelchair is so important. Okay, here we go.
This is okay. Actually, I think I can read it from right here. Sacroiliac joint. Hang on, I'll read it from my other screen. It's a little closer. Sacroiliac joint (SI) dysfunction is a condition that results from flawed movement of either one of or both of the two small firm joints in the base of the spine. Typically, the sacroiliac joints have a very small range of motion. They provide stability, for example, when a person is walking. They do a lot more than that. After 28 years of living with this situation, I can tell you exactly what they're there for.
Right.
Let me
At
show
the
you
base
on
of the spine. Okay.
on Fred here.
All right.
We got Fred over here. I'll show you where they are. So here's the spinal column that everybody knows of. Then here's the coccyx, or this smaller piece that's pointed. That is the lowest part of the spine. Your SI joint connects this big hip plate on each side, or your hip bone, to that piece with a weird shaped joint that doesn't function like your shoulders, your elbows, your wrist, or any other joints. These joints can't even be recreated and installed into us if we damage one. In other words, even with 3D printing technology, we can't even replace them. 28 years ago in 1995, I was 25 years old. I was pushing a piece of upright lawn equipment. I went to go and turn without turning the piece of equipment properly. It tipped, yanking me into the corner point of an upright tombstone. We've all seen those nice big granite tombstones that are about a couple feet tall, just about your waist height. Well, my waist decided my back would just land right on that SI joint. And let me tell you, it's been a living hell ever since.
So what happened when that happened? Like it like the corner went inside. So did it hit like your butt or something? And then that happened to hit your joint?
Yes. So basically, as I'm pushing, the thing yanked me and I ended up twisting around and fell back with force into that spot right there on that point. And that was the only spot that's the only spot that I landed on. So all of that force going into that point, the way that I best figured it out was by taking the speed that I was walking, the weight of the machine, my weight, and put those into forms of force. It comes out to a little over 13 tons of force into 1 square inch.
Wow.
And you might go, why didn't it break or pulverize you? It's because it was a momentary bump. And we, as human beings, the rest of our bodies except our head, we can take an amazing amount of force in just a brief moment like that. Now, if it was a car crash, since you have the weight of the car and you have the mass of that, boom, and you were to hit something like that, now you have all this mass pushing and just pushing for a few seconds, that would break bones, that would pulverize things. But this was just a boink type of thing, like stubbing your toe almost.
Right. But doing permanent damage to a nerve ending or something.
Well, it damaged nerves, and since the joint is designed to be really close, so it barely moves together and stuff the way that it does, when that impacted, it stretched it. Now I'm moving my hands further apart than what happened in my body, but there's tendons, really powerful, strong tendons that give us our core support.
Right.
They got stretched like a rubber band beyond the ability to return back to normal. And in the course of 5 or so months, nerves that were damaged that could grow back started to grow. What I feel is through that space that was created, because nerves can't grow through bone, they can't grow through muscle, they grow only through least resistance. So they reconnected to somewhere. And now, since these two joints are padded with cartilage, my nerves get squished. It's like a firm handshake. Somebody coming into you, squeezing your hand, brings you to your knees in tears. But then as soon as they let go, there's no damage. You didn't break bones. You didn't damage your hand or nothing. Right. But during that handshake, you were feeling it. Well, I never get out of that handshake. And it's level 8 out of level 10 that I live with every day. And it fluctuates from level 8 to level 10.
And he's talking about pain meter for those that aren't familiar.
Sorry about that. My pain levels. My pain levels are at that.
Right. Right. Wow. Now, is that only on one of the joints or both
Yeah,
of the
it
joints?
only affects my left one because that was the one that was impacted. The
Okay.
other joint is overall just fine. I recently had a back MRI taken because of my surgery tomorrow, and it turns out I don't exactly know what to call it, but they say that I have facet joint fractures around areas of that part of the back that could also be contributing to the pain as well. And
So there's other little small fractures that may be happening in the bone around that. Is that what you're saying?
either that or let me show you. Either that in this area or
Yeah.
just around in the area here because I've had to
Because the way
adapt.
you have to sit or whatever, right? Like,
Yes, I've had to change the way that I basically move my lower part of my body and move my upper part of my body to it.
right. Wow, that's horrible.
Um,
So what is this surgery tomorrow trying to do?
Well, the surgery is called spinal cord stimulator. It's basically a small device that I'm going to wear for 3 to 7 days, and they're going to put these long electrodes into my back that go into my back around the area that involve. It's going to be inside the actual spinal column itself, and they're going to put these electrodes in there so that they cover the part of the nerves that send the pain to my brain and back and forth, and they're going to use electricity to try to stop that pulse and replace it with something more pleasant.
Oh man, is this box thing, is that going to be internal or external?
For the trial, external.
Mm-hmm.
External. And the reason for that is because we don't know if it's going to work yet. This surgery, if I were to pay for it out of pocket, would be around $50,000.
My God.
My insurance company is going to pay between $15,000 to $40,000 for this. That's what Medicare is going to pay for a 3 to 7 day trial that may not work. When I've been trying to acquire a wheelchair now for well over a year, which even at retail, if they were to pay the retail price of the wheelchair, which they wouldn't, they pay about 50% of that. Basically, they pay for what the retailers gets it at wholesale almost. It's frustrating because that.
Okay, so let me understand just so I'm clear. With this surgery that you're doing tomorrow, the idea is it's almost like I would say like a patch or something where something is that maybe some nerves are damaged and it's sending signals of pain. This box means to cut off those signals of pain and maybe send normal signals.
It'll send basically, a signal that's null and void or a little buzzing feeling, like a little electrical pulse, like a zap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it'll send that. So if it's the zap one that works on me, I'll never be able to drive a car again. Still, I mean, I still can't.
Why? Because it would affect
because
you.
If you're driving along and something would affect that signal and cause it to amplify, or you were expecting it to happen at a certain time, it could distract you and cause you to crash. Although people I've heard do drive with these things in them in that mode, I would have to see how I react to it when I get it.
How strong it is, maybe.
There are over 300,000 different settings for this device.
Wow.
Yeah.
So okay, so again, okay, so
if it works,
if it works, even in that, it still doesn't fix your problem.
No,
it
it's just a Band-Aid.
takes away the pain so that the problem can be tolerated, but you're still not going to be able to get up and go play volleyball.
No, I won't be able to do that, but I might be able to walk, maybe with crutches or canes, or maybe even a walker. I may not need a wheelchair full time. I don't know. But what happens when the device either batteries die or malfunctions, or I have to turn it off for certain medical procedures or things like that, or I can't get certain tests done because of wearing it? Because like they have a mode to where if you go into an MRI, it will turn into this mode to where it basically creates a magnetic shield around itself to protect it from the MRI magnets itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a really, really, I mean, the device that will be installed into me, that surgery is going to be then an additional anywhere between $50,000 and up. If this works.
Oh, if the trial works.
Yeah. If the trial works.
Pay again.
Then there will be an additional amount of money, even more than what this
and
did.
Another surgery.
Yeah, and then every two to maybe 5 years, I'll have to go in and have the device removed and a new one put in. By the end of 15 years, I estimate that Medicare will have put in probably around $100 to $250,000 into me in 15 years, versus the wheelchair, which has only been, they didn't even cover this one. This was covered by Aetna, so zero to Medicare so far. If I were to get the new wheelchair from them, I already know I can keep it going for 15 years. And I'm going to buy replacement parts now so that when they stop being made, I can just repair it when it starts and keep on going.
Right.
You know, I never want to be in this position again, ever.
Right. And to be clear, this is kind of our the big catalyst for having to buy a whole brand new wheelchair, is because the one that John currently has is what, like 15 years old?
It's 15 years old. Yep.
They stopped making that model, and there's a specific piece. It's not even like the whole chair is bad. It's just
it's just these two down stems that the forks attached to.
Right.
Just the down stems that are loose, causing the forks to eventually then. I'll show you.
Pressure. Yeah.
I can show you. Goodness. Get in there.
So this is it's not that he needs to replace the whole chair, but he does now, because they don't sell the individual part.
Yeah, I can't buy these assemblies anymore, and that's frustrating. That maddens me so much. It's like, what? Even if I had to spend $200 buying the assemblies,
but it just seems like a CNC machine could take care of that. All right, show me what you got.
It could, but the problem is I have to get the part to a person that has a CNC machine, because I can take them off and you can measure it all out, make the part, and then have it done. But there's the problem. And there's three pieces. There's the stem, there's the lock bolt that will not come out, and then there's the housing.
Huh.
They put the lock bolt in there in such a way to where I can't even get the darn thing out using even. Well, I'll show you.
Daddy, stop spamming the chat.
All right. I like using the proper equipment. So these are the Allen wrenches that I use. They give me a lot of reach, and this is the handle that goes on to any of these. They give me a lot of reach and the ability to put a lot of force down on them, so I can get pretty much any fastener that uses a hex nut loose. And when I can't get these things to get something loose, even with penetrating fluid and loosening fluid, heating it up, all of that stuff, it's kind of like, forget it. It's in there. They use some sort of permalock thread locker in there or something, I think, to lock that bad boy in there, or something along those lines. I don't know, but I couldn't even get I stripped the Allen wrench, the hole in the bolt head. Then I tried to drill them out. And it's like, that wouldn't even, I just broke drill bits.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, screw that. Here's the forks. Here's one. It's missing about three ball bearings in it, because it's already started the process of them spitting it out. And once so many of them get out of there, this center raceway gets shoved off to the side and then breaks. It shatters. Right. And then that's what happens. This is the outer raceway that's still here on that one. And both the upper and lower, it has a upper and lower bearing in the neck, and both of them blew out like that. It's already damaging my somewhat brand new forks. I'm already seeing when I pop them off of there to inspect them, I'm already seeing the bearings doing this little pattern changing where they're all shifting to one side. And the reason that happens is because the downstem is supposed to be one with the frame, wiggles independently from the frame. And as you can imagine, anything that's in here causing these raceways to move around, even 1 millimeter or 2 off from where the direction is that you want to go, puts all of the force into those center raceways, causing the bearings then to do weird things inside the raceways, to where they eventually they pop out of there. It is so frustrating. Oh, the company that I tried to work with for over a year, New Motion, I didn't know this about them, but what happened was, back in September of 2021, the fork fell off. I then ordered 2 sets of forks from 2 different companies at the same time. I ordered a pair of OEM forks, and then I ordered a pair of mono single-legged forks. The OEMs took over 2 weeks to get to me because they had to CNC machine those, and those didn't work out the same way as my original ones. No problem. Around the middle of December, I got the mono leg ones, which are on there now, and those work beautifully, except those darn down stems are slowly destroying the bearings. And you might think, well, just replace the bearings then. Well, I'd be replacing bearings every week.
Wow.
That gets a little bit tedious and gets a little bit expensive.
Right, and that's not how it's designed. So,
no. No.
Hey, you know what? I totally forgot we actually have a few video clips here.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we start with the first one on the explanation of what an SI joint dysfunction is? So
Okay.
we're gonna show that real quick, and then we'll come back to you. Maybe that'll help people understand a little bit more about your situation.
You got it.
All right, here we go.
Hello, my name is James Harmon. I'm a neurosurgeon here in Charleston, West Virginia. I've been here for about 4 years. I treat patients with all different types of neurologic disorders. Today, I'd like to talk with you about chronic low back pain and its relationship with the sacroiliac joint, or SI joint. The sacroiliac joint is a joint between the ilium, or the hip bone, and the sacrum, which forms the base of your spine. It's a part of the pelvis. The sacroiliac joint is also bound together with an extensive network of connective tissue and muscle attachments to the bone, and therefore throughout the life there's a lot of forces that are transmitted across this joint. I've seen in my practice that patients that come in with sacroiliac pain have frequently been exposed to some form of trauma, whether a fall or a slip on ice or a car accident. I see it frequently in women after childbirth. And interestingly, I see it frequently after some of the lumbar surgeries that we perform as neurosurgeons. In fact, I see sacroiliac disease develop in up to 30% of my patients that have had lumbar fusion surgery. Oftentimes, I see patients who have been suffering from chronic low back pain for many years. They're very frustrated because they haven't been given a diagnosis. They'll come in with an MRI that is essentially normal, but terrible pain. Oftentimes this pain syndrome is centered in the low back. It often is radiating across the buttock and even down the leg. A very common complaint is that the pain is radiating into the groin. They can't stand to sit for any length of time. Sometimes standing even aggravates the pain. These are often patients that haven't been able to continue to work or enjoy their day-to-day activities because of the pain syndrome. It really has a negative impact on these patients' lives.
Wow. That is a very on-point video.
Yeah, it really gives you good, when you can see that, not to take anything away from you, but when they had the video where you could see kind of that crack or whatever.
Yes.
That really kind of put it in perspective.
Yeah, that's why I got my friend Fred over here. I've also got a video or two up on my YouTube and stuff that show a little bit about it. And yeah, it does help to see the visuals. With me, I've come up with a neat way of sitting that allows me to sit more comfortably than any other position I can come up with. I'll try to describe it to the best of my ability. And the reason that my wheelchair works so well for me is because it allows me to get the ideal seating position every time. So most seats you might look at when it says ergonomic seat, they will tilt you forward a little bit, like typing seats, office chairs and stuff. Well, for anybody with no back issues like I have, that's fine. That's actually the right way to sit because that will force you then to keep your body upright. If I sit like that, I hunch over or I have to lean back. In any other position, it could vary 3 to 10 minutes or so. I'm spazzing out and having a hard time.
Right.
What I found was if I'm sitting with my legs like this, in a position like that, and my back at a slight tilt forward, not just straight up and down, but slightly forward, with my wheelchair the way that it is, it stabilizes this whole area. Now, the SI joints here, this is your hip joint, okay, your socket that you think of. When you sit down, that gets a rest. But notice how your SI joints do not get a rest.
Right.
They don't even get a rest when you lay down on your side, back, stomach, or anything. They're always in some form of weight-bearing position. And these things do more than what some of these doctors sometimes even understand. When you go to bend over, the SI joints go to shift, and then they kind of shift, and what feels like to me, at least on my left, slides into a position and locks there for a moment. And when that happens, it basically allows you to hold this position while you're lifting up a box. And when they say don't lift with your back, it's the SI joints that you're really going to screw up, and also your lower back here. But when you bend with your knees and pick up, you give those SI joints a little bit of time to shock absorb. And when you bend down properly and pick up and you're bending up like this, you're protecting your back. But those joints are there to prevent. If we didn't have them, these pieces here would end up shattering, even if it was only just a millimeter. This is the problem I'm having with my two down stems. Even 1 millimeter of movement will cause the bone here, when they fuse this together, to shatter over time. In fact, the bone fusion surgery that's available for this fails 99.9% of the time, just due to time. And over 85% of the people that get the bone fusion and bone graft surgery, because it takes two, you got to get the graft to make the fusion happen. They shave off all that cartilage that protects the bone-on-bone protection, and then make it try to fuse together. And when you have this, you cannot undo it. You cannot reverse it.
Right.
There's no way of putting it back, putting the cartilage on. These joints cannot be 3D printed, and they cannot be reinstalled into the body like a knee or a hip, a shoulder, or an elbow, or even your wrist.
Wow.
These are, what they do is they move like this. Up, down like this a little bit. They will move like this a little bit, and they can shift and lock and then unlock and then go back. And all of this stuff is happening within just millimeters. We're talking 5 millimeters or less of movement. And these little joints are so important to us. If we didn't have them, well, we would not be able to do much of the stuff that we're able to do.
It's making me think of like tectonic plates,
yes,
like rubbing against each other, and then you have a little movement, and then boom, and it's an explosion, right?
Pretty much.
In your case, it'd be an explosion of pain, as opposed to an earthquake. But
you got it.
Wow.
Yeah. Over the years, I've had to become expert at my own situation. It took over 12 years to get this properly diagnosed. For the first 12 years, it was improperly diagnosed by, and we are not just talking about Joe Blow 7-Eleven, doctor down there on the corner. We're talking high-level orthopedic surgeons, neurosurgeons, and things like that. We are talking top-level doctors and stuff. And everything I've tried for this thing, unfortunately, has failed. No pain medicine. That includes those wonderful, awesome opioids. Don't even touch the pain. Not even close. But they do play with my bipolar and my depression. Antipsychotic medicines have a side effect of pain relief. So those have been tried on me. Those just triggered my bipolar. Methadone, a drug that's used to bring people off of heroin.
Right.
I've never been on that, but it has a super side effect of pain relief. Nearly killed me with a 5 milligram pill.
Right. Jesus Christ.
So I do not, when doctors see me, they're like, so what pain medicines are you on for your pain? And I look at them and go, none. They look at me then like, what? Then your pain's not that bad. I wouldn't wish this pain on my worst enemy after watching them wipe out, my whole family. I still wouldn't wish it on them. Right. It's just something that over the years, first 12 years, I was raging mad. And then I got my head out of my butt, started improving my attitude and looking at how I can internally work with things. I'm glad I did that. Over that time, I've come to peace with my pain, or the pain that's a part of me. And if tomorrow's thing leads to it doesn't work, oh well, that's fine. Then at least we've tried that. The doctor's going to probably want to then try a smaller stimulator device that then gets installed closer to the SI joint. I'm going to tell him thank you, but no thank you. And then after that, there's the pain pump, which delivers medicine. My attitude to all medicines when it comes to pain, no thank you. I will not risk my life, and I will not risk my mental stability. I already know. If you guys, I don't know if you guys heard about how Oxycontin was this. If you guys have ever watched Dope Sick, I believe it's a sort of documentary on Netflix. It talks about how Oxycontin was marketed as the first opioid that's safer and less addictive. Right. Well, this was back in the golden rush when I was going through it, and every doctor I saw was trying to push this crap on me like candy. Well, when I told them 3 days in, it's not touching the pain, let's double the dose. and then it double the dose. It's still not taking the pain. Oh, you're getting.
Why we have an opioid addiction in this
Yep.
country.
And I'm like, it's 6 days in. I'm taking myself off, doctor. Well, you can't do that. Why not? It's my body, and I would take myself off. It was only dumb luck and just gut level feelings that prevented me from becoming addicted to this stuff.
Right.
My gut level said, this is not working. This is dangerous. Get off. I did not like the way I felt on it at all. Gave me horrible nightmares. I mean, worse than the nightmares that I experience every night as it is.
I heard it makes you itchy.
Hmm?
I heard it makes you itchy.
Yes. It causes all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah.
Right. Mez over here says, I was never officially diagnosed. I just got tired of going to the doctor. I hear that so many times, and even in that first little video that we watched, the doctor had said that, a lot of times because these things aren't showing up on the MRI, that people are being treated as if they're, over exaggerating something or there's nothing actually there. They're making these symptoms up.
Yes.
Hello. What's up, E-Man? That sometimes they're making these things up. And they are not making them up. These are actually real symptoms.
Even the doctor admitted that up to 30% of his patients after doing a spine fusion end up with other problems. Right. So, when it comes down to it, you try to see what doctors constantly get is this. Hey, Van, how are you feeling? And then you'd answer, I'm not doing so good. Well, can you tell me what's going on? Well, I just feel sick and pain everywhere. Well, do you know when it started? I don't know. Okay. Did you do anything recently or come across somebody that was sick or did you do something physically? I don't remember. They're used to people being vague and just all over the place like that and not being able to give them the when, where, what, and how.
Right.
However, when the occasional patient that comes along says, 28 years ago, I was injured at work, hit an upright tombstone, and ever since, this is what I've had, 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 these are the results. Here we are today, ad nauseum, trying things over 3, 4, 5 different times, and here we are today. I'm on SSDI because of it, on Medicare, and none of these doctors ever think to themselves, gee, here's a young man under age 65 on Medicare. Wonder why?
Right.
You don't just get Medicare because they're handing it out like Medicaid, all right, or other insurances. You get it because you meet particular requirements that the federal government, better known as the Social Security Administration, has there for you to meet to be on Medicare with SSDI. And it's very strict, at least from what I've noticed.
Okay, hey, really quickly, because hopefully Mez is still on there. I know Mez showed me that slideshow earlier, but I don't see where. I mean, Mez had it on a separate screen.
She had secret meds magic. Oh,
she's got the brain, dude. She's the brains of the operation. This whole channel would not work without that woman. So I'm trying to figure out where that is. I did want to, we do have a couple more of those videos. So I wanted to get over to that second part of that video. And these are conservative methods. So this is all part of the same video that we started watching. It's just broken into different parts that are more pertinent. All right, so here we go.
Typically when I walk into the room, I can spot a patient that has sacroiliac problems. They're typically sitting off to one side, protecting that side. I'll ask them where the pain is, and almost invariably they point to a spot just off of the midline at the level of their belt. I'll have this patient stand up, I'll push on that point, they jump away from me because it's so terribly painful. When I see a patient who I think has sacroiliac dysfunction, I put them through a series of maneuvers in my exam room to test the joint. It confirms for the patient and for me that there's a high probability of sacroiliac dysfunction. Once that determination is made, we don't always just jump right into surgery. There's other conservative treatments that can be done first. A course of physical therapy, for example, the use of a sacroiliac belt, a course of pain medications, sometimes a muscle relaxant, have all been beneficial for patients that have sacroiliac dysfunction. I always see my patients back after this brief course of conservative therapies, and if the pain is still there, I then move to the next step, which is a series of injections into the joint. These injections are very key in the diagnosis of sacroiliac dysfunction. We do a very targeted, image-guided injection of that one joint. The injection usually consists of 2 different medicines, oftentimes one that works right away. The second medicine can work right away, or it can take a few days for it to begin, but any amount of relief with this injection tells both myself and my patient that we're in the right spot, that this is the pain generator.
All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about that because I've been through all of that stuff. Those SI belts, in my opinion, a waste of time, a waste of money. But that's just me. They didn't have one iota of help to help me. Now, they might help someone else. When they talk about those injections, they use a needle that's about 13 inches long. Then they got to get that in, and they're using, when they talk about that image guided, they're using an x-ray machine that's a ultra high definition x-ray, and it's taking 10,000 x-ray shots a second.
Wow.
And when you see it in there, it's almost like watching the super high resolution TV monitor, and you see the needle go on into where it's going, and then you see them put the fluid in, and it goes whoosh, like this little ghostly, like little fluid stuff goes through there. The problem with fluids and injections is this. Imagine this is the joint and the needle comes in and you got a nerve that's growing through there like that. Okay. Yeah. So the needle goes up to here, injects it, cloud of nebulous kind of like material goes in, it gets through that crack, numbing stuff on this side. This side is the front of you facing your belly button. Okay. This is a side facing your butt cheeks. So pretty much the only side that they have access to for a person is on the side of the back. They can't get it from the side because it's a heavy-duty bone for the hip,
right?
And they can only get at it from the back. To get at it from the front, they have to lay you on a table, put you to sleep, debowel you, move all of your guts out of the way, then go and find the nerves that might be problematic. However, there's a problem with that. You're asleep. How are you going to tell them when they're poking on nerves or zapping them which nerve is the one that's causing the problem, or nerves? So in order to do this on a living person, that person would get no pain medicine, no anesthesia, nothing. They literally, like, you just go in there, sit down, they cut you open, move your guts out. They can't do that without putting you into shock or killing you. So they can't do that. The reason I know about that is because I've asked doctors at these levels that can do surgeries like this on people in the emergency room and stuff to put them back together. I'm like, well, then how do you put a car accident victim back together with the same problem that I'm having? And then they're like, well, here's the difference.
They're already open.
They're asleep. We can stabilize them. And we're not trying to find particular nerves. We're just trying to put them back together to give them a life. We can't tell you what type of life they're going to have. We can't say they're not going to need 29 extra surgeries. We can't say they're not going to be in pain, but they will be alive. However, we can't put you on the table and slice you open because we need you to be awake to tell us what's going on when we poke the nerves. And you wouldn't survive that. You would go into shock. You would die. I'm like, well, yeah, you got a good point there then. Okay, never mind.
Wow. That's horrible.
As it was, I had what's called a radio frequency ablation done with no medicine, where I went in, laid down, they prepped the area. They took a 13-inch long tube.
In your butt or in your front?
No, in my back, going down towards the SI joint to where they needed to get close to the nerves. Then they took a slightly longer probe and slid that down on the inside of this and then poked around on the nerves. And they did that 11 or 12 times over the course of 45 minutes. Each time they touched the nerve, instantaneous level 10 pain.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, my
Instant
God.
sweat just coming out of you. And things like that. And when the doctor would pull it out, when I told him the first one, he pulls it out. My heart rate had calmed down within 30 seconds. I was already breathing normally within that time. Doctor's like, because he's got you hooked up to the vital monitor thingy. He's like, I'm not used to a person recovering so quickly from that. Usually takes a person 2 to 3 minutes. I'm like, go ahead, do the next one. I'm ready.
Wow.
He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. And all the rest of them went the same. Although he did zap, I think, 11 or so more nerves in that time period, except that one, because that one went straight down my leg into my big toe, meaning that was my sciatica nerve. And so he was telling his assistant that was helping. She's like, so is it normal that for people? They're he's like, his heart rate isn't even really going up that much. His blood pressure isn't even changing that great. Pain doesn't do that to me in that way. At least not this pain.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more, since we got the slides and everything here, about the particular, you were talking about some of the issues you were having with your wheelchair. And we have the slides down here.
Okay.
Oh, crap. You have no slides. Add from Google Slides or add from your computer?
Uh-oh, that's how he broke it.
Uh-oh, Matt's. I'm on present and then in slides. Anyways, just to remind Van, you click.
He says they're at the bottom of the screen.
Yep, select
Okay.
slide. Yep, I did that.
Okay.
You'll see a file there towards the top of the option. There's no file. It says you have no slides. And then underneath it says add file from Google Slides or your
This
computer.
is so cute. Sorry.
Oh my god. See, I told you she has the brains of the operation. Let me see. Video file. No. Extra camera. No. Slides. Yep. There's nothing there. Anyways, well, okay. So at any rate, this I do want to our director is working on it behind the scenes. This is not a lot of times people. There are so many different types of wheelchair, and I think people may, or especially if you don't have to deal with one, you probably don't care, or have never really thought about the different types of wheelchair. A lot of people, I think, are used to seeing the motorized and electronic ones. Oh, look at that.
Okay. That's a standard wheelchair. These are different types of standard wheelchairs. None of these can work for me. These are only meant for temporary short-term use, not daily use. These will not protect you from things like circulatory problems, pressure sores, and upper body damage.
Right.
Okay. Here's what the type of wheelchair that I need to use looks like.
Wait, hold on. We got it here. Here, hold on.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me get back to that.
All right. Oh, you're the best. Thank you, man. See, I told you she had the brains of operation.
All right.
All right. Tell us what we're looking at.
What we're looking at is the chair that I'm asking to replace the current one that I'm in. It's called the Tylite. That's the brand. ZRA. That's the model. And the Series 2 just means that it's the second generation, because the first generation is what I'm using. They no longer make it or any of the parts. So these are just different angles and sides of it.
Okay.
The part here, if you can.
Oh, sorry. Oh, whoa. So it started going crazy on me here. Is there any of these you want me to focus on? Which slide is best?
Where you can see the caster there in the picture, the lower right side there.
Is this one?
Nope, not that one. Go back.
Go back?
Yep, go back.
All right, sorry.
Okay. I wish that you could see my cursor floating over this. On this picture, in the lower right-hand side, bottom two pictures, there's a little wheel, black wheel, that's rolling towards us.
Yeah.
That's called the caster. It's the piece that connects that fork. Okay. I cannot take that off of this wheelchair and put it on mine. I've had that lost by a lot of people. Well, can't you just get the replacement parts for the newer chair and put it on? Nope. They decided to change the design. Geniuses they are. Okay, go on to the next one.
All right. Yeah, and so that's the thing, when they change the model or design, if you can't find that particular model design somewhere, you're just kind of out of luck.
Yep.
All right.
What we're looking at here is levers. You might think, what's the big deal of levers? You got hand rims. Well, I've used hand rims for 15 years, and my rotator cuffs are slowly getting destroyed. I recently have gone through some occupational therapy. I've now got an exercise machine and all of that stuff, and I'm using those exercises to help me. But since I have to use the hand rims all the time, that means I'm counteracting all of the work that I'm doing to fix my rotator cuffs. So there's never a chance that my rotator cuffs will catch up to actually fully heal and recover.
So these
will allow that.
Do what? They're
Think of rowing a boat.
Oh yeah.
Would it be easier for you to row a boat with just your hands or with oars?
Right.
Okay, that's the difference.
Seems like these probably give you a mechanical advantage as well.
They give me the ability to have more power going up hills. They give me the ability to power and brake without having to use my hands on the rims, causing my hands damage and carpal tunnel. They allow me to be able to perform at a more consistent rate. And also, since I'm using them like this, I'm strengthening these parts of the muscles instead of just using this part of the shoulder. That's all that's used when you're using hand rims. Just this part.
Wow.
That's it. Nothing else. You'd think using the hand rims, oh, wow, he's probably got some really strong arms. Nope. It doesn't work out your arms that way. These do. These will work out these muscles. These will work out these muscles. These will actually work like I'm using a gym machine, like on a rowing machine.
Right.
And it makes my upper body then that much more protected from upper damage. After 15 years of use, I figured, you know what? These ergonomic tools will allow me then to go into my 70s and 80s and maybe 90s, still being able to scoot around in a manual wheelchair.
Right.
Now, these come in two styles. There are the style, this piece here, see these pieces that stick out? Well, there's a lever on this that retracts those, that you can take this off of this wheel, pop it onto another wheelchair wheel, and go on your way. The other style is called a Weejit. The Weejit is the wheel and the lever all in one. That, not the wheelchair. But okay, these are $2,000 if I can find them. I can't seem to get this company to respond to me 4 or 5 times that I've tried contacting them on their Facebook, on their email, nothing. So I don't think they're in business anymore. These are $2,000 if I could find them in 24-inch size. The other ones are about $4,000 to $5,000, but that's because they come with a wheel. No, that's for a set.
Oh, okay.
That's a set.
Well,
that comes
that's
with a pair.
still, pretty hefty. But
yeah,
anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's $2,000 a pair, and honestly, I want the $2,000 a pair one, the one with the red arrows pointing at it, because personally, I like the idea to be able to pop them off. So if I'm indoors and I don't need them indoors, I can just pop them off, set them aside, and then if I do need them indoors or outdoors, then I can just switch them on and off when I need to, making it easier.
Right.
Plus, if I need to replace the rims for whatever reason, I can easily do that without having to take the whole thing apart and order a special rim and. Yeah. So I like that. See, I'm trying to make it to where once I have this, it'll be as cost effective as possible to own for the next. Yeah. Because the only things then, once I have this set up the way that I like it, the only thing I need to usually replace are tires and casters. Pretty much everything else on this thing is pretty much go until it breaks or wears down and you just replace it. And I'm planning on buying those down stem assemblies, about four kits of those, so that way I can have this for another, let's see, if 15 years gets me one the originals, then 15 more, and then 15 more. I'll have it until I'm dead.
Right. All right, let's see what this next slide.
So here's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is what's the problem on mine. See these holes right here where the red is on the right? Yeah. Those holes I had to make because I could not get that stem out of there. I could not get the piece to be removed to put a new lock piece in there to tighten it back up. So I tried drilling small little holes in the side, and then I put 4 little screws in there and tightened them down so tight that they snapped off in there, so that they're basically the thrust or the force is being pushed into the sides of the downstem to stabilize it. Well, this only held it steady for about 2 weeks. Oops. Unfortunately, what's happened to this fork over here to the middle and the left is now happening to the new red ones. I pulled them off once or twice now, check the bearings, and the pattern of the bearings is slowly shifting around to where they're going to start popping bearings out of there sometime soon and eventually breaking the inner raceways. Nothing I can do about it because that's just physics for you. And it's now happening on both front stems, not just the one. Wow. So this is what you consider a catastrophic failure that's beyond repair.
Right. Well, and again, this is why we're doing this this fundraiser. What are we looking at? So
that's what happened. You see the one on the left there? Mm-hmm. This was taken just a minute after it fell off. The only thing that made this definitely not that bad was where it fell off. I was in my living room, transferring from my couch seat to the wheelchair, turned, and it fell off. And I just fell on the floor, got back up onto the couch, took the picture.
Right.
Okay. And that's what my wheelchair looks like from the side. So you can kind of get an idea of how the bucket system or the slope of the seating system helps stabilize my back for me. And my cushion is designed to where I can move it to more the forward a little bit to where my butt's sitting down at a slope. So it even gives me a steeper slope than what you're seeing there. Right. And it keeps me in a very comfortable position. Wow. So in essence, I would just be repeating what I already have with the new wheelchair, so that way I know I already have something that's going to be successful for me.
Right. You already know it works.
Yeah, I'm not going to experiment with any other new designs or anything. So with New Motion, well, the first thing they did to me was stop communicating with me for over a year. I
Right.
finally got Mike Swinford, the CEO of that company, to take notice. He said he would do everything he can to make sure that things work out. Um, he didn't. I ended up having finally my first and one and only appointment with them at a place called RHI, where their employee, the ATP, um, an assistive technology professional, yelled at me as loud as he could when I questioned why they didn't do a full evaluation of the wheelchair, didn't give me a chance to show them how I function and perform in a standard wheelchair, either there or in my home. And when I mentioned I'll have to look into asking the Joint Commission to help look into my safety, my medical safety, he went off on me. He shamed me, he bullied me, and threatened me,
Wow.
all right there in the therapy room in front of a lot of people. And no, that's where you had that list that you were showing. That's
Yeah,
where
I want to go back to that in just a second, but I want you to get through this because I didn't want it to be on screen too long before you could get to it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the things that you've done, because it's not like your wheelchair just went out and all of a sudden we're just looking for money. You
no,
spent
no, 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 no.
years on your own trying to get this corrected. Tell us a little bit about this page.
This page is showing you all of the various organizations, government agencies, and stuff who have had to contact and file full on report of what's going on. Right now, with the state attorney general, uh, I have an investigation that's pending, meaning they are getting ready to investigate what's going on.
Right.
I have the Joint Commission, who hasn't replied back to me super quickly like they did one other time when I didn't realize somebody wasn't on their list, meaning that they might be putting that up for a pending investigation too. I've got RESNA. RESNA is the people that certify the people that can fit people into wheelchairs and work with disability people
Mhm.
in equipment. They certify giving basically new motion in employees that can go around and fit people. Well, I'm questioning their certification capabilities and the actual training and education that this person had, because he obviously did not seem to understand that 15 years of using a custom wheelchair means that I need a particular piece of equipment
Right.
versus a standard wheelchair. I'm a daily use wheelchair user, and he wants to put me in a chair that's designed for temporary short term use.
Right.
That basically, and I had to report this to Medicare and CMS as potential Medicare fraud, defrauding me out of the proper equipment by making it look like Medicare is the one providing the bad equipment when it's them making the choice to not provide a proper report on
Right.
what I truly deserve. And I'm not, he tried to say I was coercing him and stuff. I'm not coercing anybody. I'll go in front of anybody and do any test that they want to put me through. Come on down to my house there and let's do this thing. And like I said, I'll do it on my YouTube live so everybody gets to see it, so it's recorded, because that way there's no shenanigans.
Right.
It's like I have no problem doing this. So these are the various places that I've had to contact and report new motion to, even RHI, and it's just a shame that it had to go this far. I mean, it's just frustrating. And
Well,
all,
this is again, this is and this is just to give people watching tonight and or that may be watching in the future. Hopefully, you catch this show in the next 2 months so that you can help contribute as well. We've already set up a GoFundMe. The link is going to be in the description below. We have already started receiving money to that GoFundMe, so we are well towards our we're starting towards our goal. We're on our very first steps of the journey.
yeah.
But I definitely want to thank Mez for her contribution from her and her family towards that
Thank you, Metzo. That's
that
awesome
goal.
of you.
But I do want to let you know for the next 2 months, every Saber sold that has a 20% discount, also a portion of those proceeds will be going towards this fund. We'll figure out what that is at the end of the 2 months and just kind of donate it as a lump sum at the end. Our goal, I believe, was did we figure out roughly 14,000?
Yeah, it's roughly that. Now, of course, if it's less than that, I will try to find the best price online for the wheelchair, and there's no finding best prices for the Ouija or the other ones. They're just what they are.
Right.
But the wheelchair, I did find, what was it? I found one. It was like $8,700 and something dollars. I went to a different website earlier this week, and I found one. It was just $8,100 and something dollars. I'm like, hey, I'll take that. And it was
Right, right.
configured exactly as I needed it, so that I'm like, fine. And the way this will work is, I will then go in and set the configuration up, and then send that information to you guys so that you place the order. So that way you know exactly that it's being ordered, and then the wheelchair is shipped to me. Same thing with the levers. Then that way you know exactly. There's no shenanigans on my end with ooh, what's he going to do with the extra money?
You know what? We're
You
gonna
know.
figure that out. First off, just so people know, this GoFundMe, John doesn't even have access to it as far
No,
as
I do not.
So it is set up under, I believe, Kyber Cave Productions as a GoFundMe for John. Now, we are not going to be keeping that money. Every penny that we make is going to go into John's chair. If we are in the fortunate position that we raise more than we need, we will find a charity that specifically has to do with wheelchairs. We want to keep it related as much as possible. Maybe we'll find a charity that has to do with SI pain, but I think helping somebody else get a wheelchair might be a good way.
Definitely.
There's always going to be people in need.
Oh yeah.
So if we raise enough, all of the money that we raise will be going towards John getting this new wheelchair, plus the adjustments that he needs to make to personalize it to work for his situation. We're saying roughly $14,000. If we can get that for $13,000, then that's just $1,000 that will go towards a charity that will help somebody else get a wheelchair.
You got
figure that part out. We got time on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to show this last little video clip.
Of course.
That we had.
Of course.
This one talks, I believe, about treatment, or let's see, which one was that? Oops. Oh, there it is. Surgical options. Okay, here we go.
When the injection no longer works and all of those other conservative treatments are not providing any lasting relief, we move towards definitive treatment for sacroiliac dysfunction, which is sacroiliac fusion. Sacroiliac fusion is typically done as an outpatient procedure, which means you come into the hospital, we do the procedure, and you go home the same day. The surgery takes about an hour to do, start to finish, under general anesthesia. During the procedure, which is done minimally invasively, I place 3 triangular implants across the joint, and that limits the rotation of that joint in all of its different planes. After the iFuse procedure, I see patients back in my clinic 2 weeks afterwards, and they're uniformly improved. I see patients back about 6 weeks after surgery with an x-ray just to confirm that everything's okay. It's usually at this point that patients are ready to get back to work or their activities of daily living, their hobbies, etc. There is a final check usually 3 months after surgery, and in my patient population, these patients at this point are healed, doing great, and grateful for the procedure. So if you believe that the source of your pain could be related to sacroiliac dysfunction, I'd love to see you in my office.
All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I experienced for the entire time once my doctors understood this was SI joint. Every one of my doctors, every one of my therapists, every person I came across, do not, for any reason, undergo that surgery. Here's why. Since I was young at the time, they said, because you're so young, this has got a 100% chance of failure, just simply due to time itself. Because the joint has to move, that part's going to end up breaking and bending those little pieces that they put in there. The other problem is over 85% of the people that get this done end up in even greater pain than what they first went in with. And I'm like, holy crap. And they said, the other problem is they stop moving that one side, it causes damage to the other side, to where you eventually end up needing all the same things you did for the first to the second joint. And boy, that's no fun. Now, just imagine you have 2 points in your back that are equally painful. Oh, I'm going to be extra happy. No, thank you. Me not going to go there. Too risky. Also, he forgets to tell you that surgery is only done in like 4, maybe 5 places in the United States. And if you live in a spot where you have to take a plane, car, train, or otherwise to get there, that means you're out of area for your insurance. Guess what? It's not. It's not in network unless you're on Medicare. Medicare is covered everywhere in the United States. But here's the problem. If there's an infection or if anything goes wrong, your local doctors in emergency room can only give you antibiotics and tell you, good luck, go see the doctors that did this work to you. So,
Wow.
yeah. And it's crazy, just crazy risky. And I'm like, I mean, it's wonderful, I guess, that they do have it for those people that it works for. Way to go. But yeah, from what I was told, it's a very risky process to have done to that spot on your body. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to risk that. I will try though. What I am trying though is this stimulation device to see if maybe that might give me some relief. If it does, yay. And then I can tell you guys. But see, the problem with that is what happens if the device provides me seemingly relief for a little bit now, and a month into it or two, it no longer is effective. And then now I'm back to my old self. Well, see, that's the problem. If you get this thing permanently installed into you, then that's where the sales guy who is part of the team tries to talk you into keep coming back for different settings. That's those 300,000+ settings that this device offers. And I'm sorry, if we can't find that device within like the first few hundred, forget it. you know. So I will be given a remote control that lets me make my own adjustments to this thing, from what I understand, and I will have an app that also monitors it. So it'll be interesting. It's an outpatient procedure. I think it takes like 45 minutes or something like that. So it's not that bad. And compared to the pain that I've been experiencing, this will be nothing.
Wow. Well, I feel for you, dude. I've told you many times, dude, I'm a wuss, dude. When it comes to pain, I just turn into a little baby. So I can't imagine you and Mezzo. I know, there are a few people, we're all getting older. As we get older, we all have different things and conditions. And, the whole point of this show is everybody's got something they're
Exactly.
dealing with, right?
Exactly.
So, there's no shame to any of it. But there are so many conditions that, that people are dealing with. And I could not fathom being in that type of pain all the time and having such a great attitude about it like you do, and coming to peace with it. We are coming near the end of our show, my friend.
Okay.
I do want to remind people really quickly, like I said, all of March and all of April, any saber that you buy from kybercave.com, you're going to get 20% off on that saber, and a percentage will be going towards John's fund. Now, I've been saying percentage as opposed to an exact percentage because I was talking to my store manager, and he was like, dude, I've got to figure out the percentage for each individual. I was like, okay, we'll figure something out. So it may be something like, $20 for every, $100 saber or something like that. We'll figure it out. The point of the matter is we will be contributing to this. We would like to ask if you can help in any way possible. We do have a GoFundMe link down below. We're going to be running this on all of our shows. I also wanted to let you know, too, you can help out this show and these channels. We are ever evolving. We have some great new shows. We have shows 6 nights a week right now, and we still have more shows coming. It is absolutely incredible, the crew that we have. But you can help join the Patreon for just as little as $1 a month. That goes towards helping pay for our editor on various shows. And let's be real, our editor
buys these. Woo!
If you join at the friend level or the family level within you know what? I'm gonna give it tonight. Tonight's gonna be the last night because it was supposed to end last night. If you join tonight on the friend level or at the family level, you will be put in a drawing. And as May 4th comes, part of being a Patreon is we have 5 sabers that we're giving away. If you are in the friend level, you have access to 4 of these sabers. Now, they're going to be cool sabers off of our shelf. They're not going to be the cheapest saber or anything like that. They're going to be great sabers off our shelf. However, for the family level, anybody who is on that level, we will be giving away 1 custom designed saber. This is going to have special etching on it or special paint or color or something like that. One of a kind saber. You'll be the only person to have it on the planet. that if you were in the family level, you were in the drawing for that one of a kind. So if you're in the family level, you get a shot at 5 sabers. If you're in the friend level, you get a shot at 4 sabers.
Very cool.
So tonight is the night. We are ending it there. I would
Can I
encourage
take a minute to show
Yeah.
people what it is on my wheelchair that makes it unique?
Yes.
Okay, so what makes this chair work for me? Well, first off, the titanium is it's a material that absorbs certain vibrations that affect my back. So the shape of the frame, being monoframe, not a box frame with the support down on the bottom, makes it flexible. See this red part right back here? This allows me to move the height of here up and down. This piece can move forward and back, adjusting it exactly to where it's easiest for me to roll around with. The other nice part with this is that I could set my back straight up and down. I can move it forward, which I usually have mine at 92 to 95 degrees forward. And the whole weight overall allows me to move it around with a lot less mass extra to me. If you ever were in high school and had a backpack full of books, or your kids did, those 70-pound bags.
Right.
Try to imagine moving that extra weight around plus your weight while you're trying to go up and down hills, or while you're trying to move through your house or whatever. It just makes moving around almost like moving just yourself. Like you don't even realize this is not even a part of you. Those pieces right there are not found on any standard wheelchair. The design of this is not found on any standard wheelchair. This design allows me to use it for over 17 hours a day comfortably without medical problems. And I've been doing it for 15 years, and it allows me to be independent. So I just wanted to show that these red spokes are made out of a high-tech string. They absorb shocks and bumps differently than metal spokes. The tires that I use are a solid fill, real feel, pneumatic feel tire. They are, if you were to drop them on edge, they would bounce like an air-filled tire compared to the standard wheelchair wheel. When you drop it, it's like a medicine ball. Thud.
Right.
And the whole chair, this whole entire chair weighs about 11 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So we're not talking a lot of mass added to me, yet it allows me to be independent everywhere that I need to go and want to get. And I'm okay with using a wheelchair. A lot of people go, well, gosh, if I ever had to use a wheelchair, it would suck. That's all your attitude. It's how you look at it. Hey, it could be worse off. I could be in an iron lung.
Right. And you definitely have an incredible attitude. Like I said, when I first met you, when I interviewed you on our show, I was absolutely floored by your attitude and how you're able to deal with all these things and still, have a better, outlook on life than many people do.
It's a choice. That's all I can tell people. It's a choice to choose the attitude and how I react.
Right.
Some days are better than others.
Right. All right, my friend. I think this is going to be a good place for us to close up. I really want to thank you, John, for taking the time to be open and talk to us about what it is that you deal with on, a regular. This is life for you. This is what you deal with every day. But it can help us maybe understand when we see somebody else in a wheelchair, that it's not just somebody being lazy or just somebody, they don't want to walk or something. It's a lot more work than actually walking.
Actually, it is. Actually, when you're walking next to me, for every step you take, I have to use the wheel. I put my hands on my rims 2 times for every step that you take.
Wow.
And look, my arms aren't that built up at all. Plain old looking boring arms after 15 years of doing this. That's why I said those arm levers, those are going to be a game changer there.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, we are going to do my best, buddy. I hope us the best. I wish, I want to make that goal. I want to see
everybody
this happen for you. For those that have contributed already, thank you so much.
Definitely.
Like I said, down below is the GoFundMe. And you can contribute. Please share this show. Let other people know about this as well. I'm sure there are people that are in the same exact position as John is, and they understand what it's like and would love to help or contribute.
And if I am fortunate enough to where we do get this, I definitely will be doing a live show. Oh, I'm sorry. I will be doing a live show and, of course, coming on here, showing the chair to y'all, showing the levers to you, and me using them.
Yeah.
Yep. I
We
mean,
have a dance party in the wheelchair.
basically just thanking everybody. Just again. I'm only looking. I'm only looking to replace the wheelchair that's been a dear part of my existence for 15 years. And if I could replace those downstem assemblies, if I had a CNC machine or if I had somebody I could take it to that had one like that, I could then get that stuff replaced. I think
Well, that's what
if
I was saying though. Was we have CNC machines. It's going to take me a little bit to get one up, but I have that worked on. The only thing is I don't know how to use the CNC machine, so I would need to have like a CNC professional. But you know
yeah,
what? I bet you. I mean, for a charity thing like this, I bet you there'd be somebody out there that'd be willing to figure that out.
the only problem with that is for me to take off those pieces, then I have no wheelchair.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you about that, but
Just deal with it.
right. Well, God, and maybe we can even make, like I said, we have CNC machines.
I know.
I just don't know, I don't know how to use it. So we will get this figured out, my friend.
We will.
But our goal, we are going to get that wheelchair for you. We've got 2 months. The
Okay.
adventure starts right now.
All
Please
right.
help and contribute in any way you can. Please share this show. Next week, we will be back to our normal routine. Well, I guess this was good. We learned about SI joint dysfunction tonight.
That's true. It's SI joint dysfunction. Yes.
Woo! That's kind of freaking me out. All right. Yeah, but I'm not sure what our topic will be next week, but just like always, we'll have another interesting topic, and we will pull clips from pop media to help you understand the people that you have living around us. I do not have, I'm looking on here, Mez, and I don't know if I'm just missing something. I do not have our outro for on here. But I do want to thank all of our incredible patrons who contribute every month, who help out this channel, and all of the shows that we have. Like I said, we literally have brand new content 6 days a week.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Including 2 shows that this gentleman does. Not only Hearts of Kyber, this one, but he does another show that comes out on Tuesdays called The Beatdown.
That's where people beat each other up with sabers.
That's right. And he plays funky music to it. We've got 3 episodes up right now. You can check those out. Go check out Beatdown. And I want to let you guys know we are over 1,000 subscribers. That means we're just working on our watch time. We are less than 650 watch hours away. So
nice.
I guarantee by the end of this month we're gonna be a real little YouTube channel. So we are plugging away. I want to thank everybody that has helped us. John,
Definitely.
thank you for being such a fantastic host every week, as always.
Well, thank you, and thank you
Yeah.
for being
all right, John. I don't have an outro or any like cool music or anything like that. So we're just gonna cut this. Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right.
I love you all.
Peace.
Till next week. Adios.
Till next week.